She took all my shit, not even a note, but I'm used to it because I love too much. I love too much. Yes, I love too much. Yes, I love too much, but there ain't no love for me. No, 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 because I love too much. I love too much. Yes, I love too much. Yes, I love too much, but there ain't no love for me.
On the show, I have JC Gafford, all the way from the San Fernando Valley in California. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Good. You've just got a new album out called Love Too Much, which I've been enjoying. I've been enjoying a lot. We've just heard Love Too Much, in fact, the title track from the album. Could you tell us a little bit about how the album came about?
Well, the album, it started when I had decided that I had wanted to record some blues songs. At that time, I did not have an album planned. I just had a couple of great tunes, and I hooked up with a great producer, and the synergy was super strong. So we completed those two songs, and then I decided, well, let's just go for it and make our record. So I ended up coming across a whole nother friend who had a track of 10, a record of 10 blues instrumentals that he had not written words to, that he was going to do an album for himself with. But rather than that, he perhaps faithfully gave the CD to me. So I wrote a bunch of songs to those tracks. And then I took those into the studios because he didn't have the original individual tracks from the studio. He just had the whole thing so he couldn't do individual levels. So we had to recreate all the tracks. But that's sort of how it came to be.
Wow. Where did you record it? Because the sounds are fantastic. I really love the sound of the album. It sounds like you've recorded it in the same studio for the whole thing.
Actually, there were two studios. When I first hooked up with this producer named Russell, who's awesome, he had a studio in an industrial complex. And then as we were recording the album, he moved his studio to the back house of the home where he lives with his now wife. So miraculously, he was able to manage those acoustics and not lose any sound quality, which is awesome.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm really impressed with the sound of it, but the musicianship's fantastic. You got some great musicians and very numerous as well. I was trying to count all the different people I could hear by ear, and there's organs, there's piano playing, there's harmonica playing, saxophones, drums. Extra vocals, flute. There's all sorts of different people, and very talented people as well. Could you tell us about some of the musicians? Because the album is called JC Gafford and Friends. So could you tell us about the friends, please?
Okay, well, I follow there's a club here in LA that does blues every Monday night. And miraculously, he has been able to do that every Monday night for 8 years with no missed nights. So I go pretty much every week. And as I was going to those shows, when I came across a musician who I loved, I would go up to them after the show and get their contact information. So luckily, I've got some of the best players in the blues world. Michael Lazier, the drummer, he plays with Walter Trout, so he's touring all year round. Paulie Serra is Joe Bonamassa' saxophone man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. RJ Michaud, the harmonica player, tours all the time, all over the world for his own records, and he's got all kinds of distinguished awards and so forth. Johnny G on a couple tracks, bass. He's also Walter Trout's bassist. Malcolm Lukens, who is the only organist, keyboard player on the record. He tours with Guitar Shorty, who is a blues legend. Guitar Shorty.
Sorry, is that the guy doing the piano as well, or did you get someone else?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some of the piano tracks actually is Russell. some of the smaller tracks, but for the most part, those tracks are all from Malcolm. And Guitar Shorty is a blues legend. He taught Hendrix how to play the blues. So yeah, he's quite a distinguished guy. And then the backup vocals, Peggy Blue, she is a legend. She's been working her whole life. She's performed with Barbra Streisand. She's had #1 hits of her own towards your end of the world. She's everybody that you've ever heard of. She's played with. She's a magnificent musician. If you don't hear her in front, you hear her behind hundreds of people. Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. I mean, the list just is endless. So we were able to bring her aboard, and that completely took the record to the next level. It was an honor. It was really an honor for me to be able to work with those people.
Well, that's it.
And the others as well.
The album is just packed full of talent, really, and you can really hear that. One of my favorite tracks is "Falling for You," and I think there's a lot of tracks on the album that aren't traditional 12 bars and things like that. You've turned a lot of the songs around, so they've all got something interesting about them. But the one I like about "Falling for You" is the sort of soulful quality of it, but there's a lot of question and answer going off in there. With the the question and answer thing, that was Peggy Blue's idea. Yeah, when she came in and arranged the background vocals, and we gave it a shot, and it just worked fantastically well. I love hearing that kind of stuff because that's a very blues tradition sort of thing, not just in guitar soloing and things like that, but in terms of the old traditional field hollers and stuff like that, which I really like, work songs and things like that. But the flute is an inspired choice. I like that. That really sort of, I don't know, it made my ears prick up.
I wanted definitely to make a blues record, but I didn't want to feel locked into 12 bars only. I wanted to do my own thing. I just heard the flute, and I knew I needed flute on there, and made it happen. And a guy named Busby Morris came in and did it and just killed it.
Well, let's listen to that track now then. This is "Falling for You."
You love me. We're happy. Get married. You smile. I hold you. This is real. This is true. I love that we made it through, and I love that I'm falling for you.
So there's a few other sort of tracks that I'm sort of going to pick out that I'd like to play on the show. So one of the other tracks that I like very much is "I'm Not the Man," which has got it's got like a unique turnaround lick, because I'm a musician myself, and when you hear something that's quite unique in terms of blues playing, you really sort of latch onto it, almost like I'm getting my notepad out and taking notes, like I might use that turnaround myself,
Yes, I do the same thing. I'm just as guilty.
But that one's great as well. It's for the saxophones. I really love the sax parts on there. Was that one guy? Did you say, or one person? The Joe Bonamassa saxophone player.
Yeah. His name is Paulie Serra. He's magnificent. One guy. That song actually is one of my favorites on the record.
Well, I can see why. Let's hear it now. This is "I'm Not the Man."
I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure just when. But here we are fighting all over again. Something feeling has changed. You're seeing things different. I'm still in the here and now. No clue where you went. I'm not the man you want me to be. But I'm also not the man you think I am. Don't you see? I'm wondering when.
It's very layered, that one. It's
Yeah.
I was noticing when I was listening to it, just the amount of tracks that you've got on there. I don't particularly envy the studio guy's job, because it sounds like I don't know. How many tracks do you reckon was on there? How many individual tracks? There must have.
Well,
must
the
have been like
backup
20.
alone, the backup vocals alone are 9 tracks. It's 3 parts,
Yeah.
and then all 3 of the parts are tripled.
Wow.
And that actually is the first time that, as a singer, I have done that. So that's a credit to Peggy Blue. She helped me put that together.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was intense, but it turned out, I think, great.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. But I don't. It's a bit hard. I'd like to play all the tracks on the album, but I'm just picking out.
Okay.
I'm just.
I won't say no.
I'm just picking out a few that I like, and I'm sure I'll play these on future episodes of the podcast. But yeah, one of the last track on the album, I think it's "Carrying On."
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like there's a bit of a story to that one that isn't really. I don't know. There's something going on there. Maybe an underlying story behind the track, and I don't know if there is, but it sounds like there is. Could you talk a little bit about that song, please?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad that you asked me about that song. That is the most emotional song on the record. There is 2 songs on the record that we did with a guy named Tootie Gadsden, who is the brother of James Gadsden. And unfortunately, he passed away in the making of the record.
Uh-huh.
And so the guy that's on that record with me, Sir Stan Griggs, grew up with Tootie. So we wanted to pay homage to him. We wanted to honor him. So, and we wanted to let him know, because he was so instrumental in helping us get started. One of the earliest songs we worked on was Victim of Life, and Tootie was all over that song. And so we wanted to honor him for not only getting us started, but for Sir Stan, he was a lifelong friend. So we wanted to really honor him and
a great way to honor a musician is writing a song about them or including them in the composition. So yeah, a great honor to him.
Hey people, I got a call from a good friend, JC. I'm talking about, you know JC, yeah. He want me to ask me old dumb questions.
Hey, knock that
Do
off.
I know Tootie Gadsden?
That ain't right.
And I asked him, you talking about Thomas Maurice Gadsden? The brother of James Gadsden, the great drummer? Sure, I know him. We were raised up together. So, make a gig, a session? Oh man, I'd be glad to. Yes, I'd be glad. Tell me when, and what time, and I'll be there. All right? No problem.
Today, I really want you to know you blew my mind, and I wish I could say it to your face. You told me you love playing my songs. You even gave me some of your time. The journey you started us on, we're carrying on, yeah, carrying on.
Raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Played
I'd like to play Backseat Blues. When I first heard this, it sounded very much like a John Lee Hooker song that I like very much, called Boogie Chillin'. And before long, it turned almost into sort of a ZZ Top kind of thing halfway through.
Yeah.
So I was really
Well, that's high praise. I'll take it.
I was really taken aback by it. I thought it was a great song. But how did it come about? Was it one of those things like what happens a lot where you sort of jamming things and you say, "Oh, I like that. What was that?" Or did you compose that one purposefully like that?
On that particular song, the melody came to me first. The music and the groove came to me first. And then we just built the track, and then I just plugged some words into it. I had some stuff going on in my life at that moment where I definitely did not feel like I was in control. Things were just happening. And that I needed to sort of step up and assert myself and gain control of those things so I can sort of steer it and try to make it go where I wanted it to go. So I thought, hey, there's a song in this. Write it.
Well, that's the thing I've noticed throughout your whole album. You talk very honestly in your lyrics about things that are happening. You can hear that it's sort of very current in your life. The lyrics mean a lot, and it's almost conversational what you're singing about. And I like that.
Yeah.
That's really a plus for the style of music that you're doing as well. Because blues is my favorite kind of blues. Is very honest blues. You can hear when someone doesn't really mean what they're saying or doesn't really mean what they're singing, and you don't do that. You really sing what you mean, and you're telling stories that are things that have actually happened to you, which is like in the true spirit of blues playing. I think that's what the blues is about. It should be telling stories about your life.
Yep.
And you do it very well.
Yep. Some of them talk about my life. Some of them talk about other people's lives.
Yeah.
But they're all real, and they're all experiences that I've had or that somebody that I know has had.
Yeah, all very current. I think that's the thing I noticed. So we're gonna listen to that one now. This is Backseat Blues.
Okay.
Backstreet Blues, almost.
Yeah, right. No boy bands, please.
Backstreet Blues, all right.
No, not this time. I ain't one to lose. No, not this time. I ain't one to lose. I need to jump up in the front seat and drive. No more backseat blues.
JC Gafford, I think that'll probably wrap us up actually, because I was going to play 5 songs on the album. I think that's the 5 songs I wanted to talk about. But you've got a great album, and I think everybody should listen to it. Where could they buy this album?
Currently, it is on bandcamp.com if you want it electronically, and hard copies currently are available on my website, which is jcgafford.com. I know, impossible to remember.
Gafford.
How will anybody remember that?
ORD. Great. Well, it's been really nice speaking to you, and I hope to do it again.
Yes, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. This is great. Thank you for having me.